Start with a prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaskar. Thank you to Anandji for that fulsome praise and extraordinary introduction to a very ordinary person. Um, I was looking forward to visiting the Vedanta Society of Austin this summer, but like many other plans, we had to cancel that because of the pandemic. But thanks to the efforts of the volunteers, the organizers, we are able to organize this program. Now, when I was asked about what I would like to speak about, I um, I decided on this subject, Atma Vichara, which means self-enquiry, an inquiry into ourselves. That is my favorite topic. So I thought I'll indulge myself. I'll really enjoy this session, I suppose, as much as anybody else or more than others. So we'll just slowly go into this subject, perhaps the most important subject that there is, most rewarding subject that there is. Look at what is promised in Vedanta. The question is, in these times of suffering and anxiety, can we be free of anxiety effortlessly? Can we have a stable, lasting peace of mind? Can we have a natural joy welling up spontaneously within ourselves? Is it possible to be without attachment to anybody or anything and yet be full of love, be fully involved in life? You don't have to become a monk sitting in the mountains, but fully involved in life and yet be free of attachment. Is it possible to attain that in the language of the Bhagavad Gita, to attain that by attaining which one is not shaken by the deepest of sorrows, the heaviest of sorrows? And dukkhena guruna pina vichalyate. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, by finding that, you are not shaken by the heaviest of sorrows. By finding which, there is nothing greater to be gained. Yan labdva na cha aparam labham manyate tato adhikam. Having attained which, you find nothing else in the universe which is greater than that. You've already attained the ultimate. So is it possible to do that? Vedanta claims yes, it is possible. So the reward is great. And I was thinking, it's usually in the times of suffering. Often it's the times of personal suffering. You see, suffering is always there. It's only that most people carry on with their normal lives. A few people are struggling. Each of us, we find times in our life when we suffer. Personal loss, physical or mental ill health, financial problems, problems with family and beloved ones. All kinds of struggles, often localized to one person, to a family, and other people carry on. But in times of great calamity, like this, for example, whole society feels this. The whole society now across the world feels that we are in this space, in this time when we are all faced with a crisis. And these are good times to learn. This is the time when question comes up. What is the purpose of all of this? What is the ultimate meaning? What have we gained from life? Nothing lasts. Neither money, nor achievement, nor youth, nor health, not even life, not even this most beloved body of ours. Nothing lasts. So what do we gain out of this? When you're young, life seems to be long and ahead of you, full of possibilities. And as we go through life, we find how fast it has all passed. All of you, I'm sure, you all have memories of being a child, sitting for your school examinations, passing out from college, getting married, or children, big events of your life. And if you think back, you notice how fast it has passed. In me, in myself, I notice I'm a monk. And if I remember, it was just over 25 years ago that I joined. The day I joined the order, I left the world behind. I came to become a monk, this young person. It seems just like yesterday, and 25 years have passed. And I'm no doubt 25 years more also will pass just like that in an instant. 25 years later, I will look back. Yes, 50 years have passed, maybe if I'm still alive. So time passes just like that. What is the point of all of this? This ultimate realization, God realization, Swami Vivekananda's language, or the manifestation of the divinity within us, this is the purpose of life. Advaita Vedanta says such a thing is possible to attain that, that ultimate realization, illumination, call it Brahma Jnana, whatever you call it. It is possible, not only possible, we must do it. That is the purpose of life. One may say it is not my purpose. My purpose is to be happy somehow in this life. I need some money. I need my children to be happy. I need my job to go well, my health to be all right. But by all of this, what do you intend to get? We never think like that. When you think, by all of this, I need some peace of mind, some sense of fulfillment, some joy. So basically, it is a happiness that you are looking for. 1 second, let me silence them. Silence this one. It is this fulfillment we are looking for. And that fulfillment in the ultimate sense is what Vedanta promises us. So it is possible. Now, religion or spirituality, this higher spirituality where we are looking for God realization, there are two broad paths, often not recognized. A sadhu in Uttarakhand said in Hindi, "Do hi raste hai, there are only two paths. Jano ya mano. Either you know it or you believe it. Either you know it or you believe it." Now, this you believe it, this is basically how religion is understood throughout the world. In most cases, whether it is here in the West or in India, mostly people think religion is a matter of belief. Religion is a matter of faith. And that's not wrong. Mano, believe it. That's why in the United States, for example, the common word used for religion is faith. It's a system of beliefs. So that's one way. Definitely it is a religion, but that's not the only way. There is a higher way, a deeper, more profound, more direct way of attaining the same result, of attaining that ultimate goal of human life. Jano, you know it. One teacher, Punjabi teacher I was hearing, he was giving in his talk, he said that, "Jo samajh sakta hai, those who can understand, uske liye bodh hai, for that person, knowledge is there." And he says, "Jo samajh nahi sakta, who cannot grasp it yet, unke liye vidhi diya jata hai." For them, do's and don'ts are given. You follow a certain path. These are the rules you follow. These are what you do not do. These are the practices to be undertaken, and with the belief that you will attain something. So that's the broad path which people are used to in religion. But today we are not going to go down that path. We are taking the higher path. More difficult? Not really. If many people are suited to this, are open to this, for them it's a easier, more. Swami Vivekananda said, in this age, Advaita Vedanta is the only religion open to rational minds. If we believe, if we find it difficult to believe, if our reason stops us from following the broad path of faith, here is a path which is rational, which is logical, which is direct, and demonstrates its results straight away. So there's this path. Looking a little deeper, not just two, in fact, three paths become obvious to us. Not just belief or knowledge, jano ya mano, but all three paths. What are the three paths? See, one is the path of belief. You believe there is God or heaven or something like that. Even all these other things, Brahman, Karma, Atma, mostly at this level, when we talk about it, at first it's a question of belief. You like these ideas, other people believe in it, and you have some kind of shraddha, faith in it, and you start up that way. And that's a good way to start. But there's a problem with this. The problem is, in this day and age, this is the age of science, this age of skepticism, of reason. If you listen to a few talks by Christopher Hitchens or Richard Dawkins, they blast the system of faith, a faith-based religion in no uncertain terms. They're called the new atheists or militant atheists. Very soon we will be cured of all kinds of belief. Belief is subject to doubt. Notice in all those debates between Dawkins and various pastors or rabbis, different teachers of religion or theologians, almost always, not almost, all the time, in every case, it is Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens who gets the better of the proponents of religion. It's very difficult to defend a system which starts with faith and is based on faith against the attacks of skepticism and reason. Very difficult. Higher than this, deeper, more profound than this, is another path, a second approach to religion or spirituality, which I might call the path of mystical experience. This is what Swami Vivekananda emphasized when he came to the United States more than 125 years ago. He said, religion is realization. Religion is not just believing certain things. Religion is realization. And it is true. At the core of every religious system, there were people, the founders, their disciples, who actually realized what the truths taught in that religion. They actually had these extraordinary experiences. As Vivekananda said, if there is a God, I must see God. If I have an immortal soul, I must feel it to be so. I don't feel it. I feel I'm this body, which is not immortal. It's going to die. So if I have an immortal soul, why can't I feel it? If God exists, why can't I see God? And the path of mysticism says you can. Here are the practices. Here is the way of sitting, of breathing, of meditating, of concentrating inside your inner being. And there, these truths of religion will be revealed to you. How? Not by just believing in it, through extraordinary experiences. How do we actually experience this world? We don't believe that the world exists. You don't believe that your father, mother exists, your husband, wife, or children exist. You experience them, you see them directly. In that way, even more so, can you experience God? It is the second path. Path of mystical experience. When Narendranath went to Sri Ramakrishna, his question was, have you seen God? Not that, do you believe in God? Not that, how can I believe in God? No, how can I see God? And Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, I have seen God. And so can you. So there is a way of seeing God. That is the path of mystical experience. A classic example of such a path is Patanjali Yoga, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. You practice these things, you will get certain experiences, and those experiences are supposed to prove the truth of religion to you. But here again, there is the possibility of doubt. If you ask a modern neuroscientist, and some of you are brain scientists or doctors, neuroscientists might say, look, that experience of light you had, of oneness, that divine vision you had, I am not doubting that you had that experience, but that does not prove anything. It is just a lesion or a tumor in your brain, and that is putting pressure on certain neurons, and that is generating these experiences. And we can also prove it. We can stimulate certain areas of the brain, and it gives rise to certain feelings and experiences. How do you know that it is not just an abnormal occurrence in your brain? That's why many mystics were always regarded as mad people. It's not that they are really seeing God, they are mad. They just, Sri Ramakrishna, many people said that around at that time. Today we are saying Avatar, and at that time many people around the Kali temple in Dakshineshwar used to call him the mad Brahmin, Pagla Vaman. Because what is this seeing Kali and experiencing the Divine Mother? And it must be mad. A more sophisticated version is your modern psychotherapist or neuroscientist, who will also basically, in more technical and polite language, say that you are mad if you think that you are actually experiencing anything other than this world. So it can be doubted. Now, higher than that, deeper than that, is the subject of self-enquiry, which we are going to talk about. How is it different from the other two? Here, it is not a question of belief. You are not being asked to believe that you are Brahman or the absolute reality. No. You must not believe, in fact. You must know for yourself. You're not even asked to go in through certain exercises and get certain mystical experiences. In samadhi, you will realize this. Not even that. Those are welcome. Remember, I am not criticizing belief. I am not criticizing mystical experiences. They are all true. They are all helpful. And indeed, in practical spiritual life, you must have those also. But I'm trying to distinguish what today's subject from those things. We must drill down. We must be precise in our thinking today. So I'm trying to exclude those things from the purview of today's subject. At the end, if you have questions, if you ask, so should we not believe in God? Should we not do our meditation exercises and all? My answer always will be, yes, you must. Not only are they good, they are very useful in spiritual life, but they are not the core of the path I'm going to talk about today. How do you distinguish? So what is this unique path if it's not belief, if it's not mystical experience? What is it? The beauty, the unique beauty of Advaita Vedanta is, it tells you it's not a question of belief. It's a matter of experiencing reality right now as it is. It is not even a question of mystical experiences, seeing some light or some kind of vision, not even that. Just the experiences which are continuously available to all of us all the time. That this world which you are seeing, I am the seer and I see these things. That's enough to begin the investigation. I exist. That's enough to begin the investigation. Ramana Maharshi, famously, somebody asked him, am I qualified? Because we always think the path of knowledge is very difficult. It's not for us. No. He asked Ramana Maharshi, am I qualified for this path? And Ramana Maharshi said, did you say I? Then you're qualified. If you can say I, then you're qualified. Because Ramana Maharshi's famous method was, who am I? If you say I, you can ask, who am I? Self. If you have a self, and obviously you have, everybody has it, then you can inquire into the self. The very existence, our own existence, and what we experience around ourselves is sufficient to begin the process of self-enquiry. It does not ask for anything more than that. It is based entirely upon your experience. See, the problem with mystical experience is, though the promise is you can experience it for yourself, as Vivekananda said, but there's a fine print. It takes all these difficult psychophysical exercises over decades of time to have these extraordinary mystical experiences. Until that time, it's still a matter of faith. That other people have it, I believe, I have trust, so I'll try it. But Vedanta promises right here, right now. It's not a matter of believing something, not a matter of trying to get certain extraordinary experiences. So that's the beauty of this path. What is the spiritual journey here? It is not a journey in space, that you have to go from here to heaven, from here to Vaikuntha or Ramakrishna Loka, some divine, the pure land of the Buddha. No, you're not going from one place to another. That reality which Vedanta talks about, the self-reality, is right here, right now. You don't have to wait for it. After death, I will see God. Or after samadhi, after certain spiritual practices, then I will find God. No, the then, when you use the then, you are talking about time. But in this path, there is no then. Right now. Right here, right now, and all the time. And everywhere, wherever you are, it is there. That reality is there. Whenever you are, whatever the time, past, present, and future, that reality is available to us. And here you are not looking for something other than yourself. It is the self itself that is the subject of our inquiry. You are always available to yourself. If nothing else is available to you, you are always available to yourself. If a temple or a meditation hall is not available, but you are there. If all the textbooks of religion and philosophy are not available, you are there. If I am old and sick, I cannot sit up straight and meditate, but my own self is there. Maybe old and sick, self is there. If I'm lying in a hospital bed, self is there. So the self, what the object of investigation here is the subject itself, is the self, and that's always available. So it's not a journey in space, not a journey in time. Spiritual journey in this path is not a journey from self to the other. It is the self itself. Now the problem is, if it is not a journey in time, space, or from one object to another, then if it's a journey, what kind of journey is it? Why do we not know it right now? If it is right now, why don't I see it? If it is right here, why don't I experience it? If I am that reality you're talking about, which I'm looking for, Why don't I feel that way? It doesn't seem to be so. So the problem here is ignorance. I don't know it. And the solution is knowledge. So the spiritual journey in this path is a journey from ignorance to knowledge, not from one place to another, not from one time to another, not from myself to some God. No, it is a journey from not knowing to knowing. Immediately people will ask this question, a valid question: is knowing enough? I have heard many talks, read many books, so I know, but I don't think that I'm enlightened or I'm a Buddha. Knowing here has a special sense, not just listening to a talk or reading the book. This knowledge is essential. What we gain from this talk or the book is essential, but that deepens into enlightenment. So you're already in the process. There's a very interesting thing. Well, if you're learning meditation or if you're on the path of bhakti, devotion, hearing talks and reading books is just a step. But ultimately, you have to do it. If I read a manual on meditation, bestseller on meditation, Miracle of Mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh, and I don't practice it, then I gain nothing from it. I have not even started. Reading the book itself is not a beginning. You have to start practicing mindfulness. But in Advaita Vedanta, now, right now, when you get this knowledge, when you listen to it, you've already started. 3 steps: Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. I hear, I reflect upon it, and I meditate upon it. So once you've started hearing, once you've started studying, the process of self-enquiry has already started. So congratulations, you're already on the path. I think that I have to listen to this, then I have to practice. So why doesn't he get on with it? No, we are already practicing just by listening here. Atma Vichara, inquiry into the self. Ignorance to knowledge. The claim is that we do not know ourselves as we are. We think we have to know things outside. There's nothing to know about us. But Vedanta says you're making a profound mistake. What you think, what we think that we know about ourselves, that is the biggest stumbling block. That hides the ultimate truth from us. Mark Twain once said, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you think you know, but you don't know. That's what gets you into trouble. We think we know ourselves. We don't. And that's why we get into the trouble called samsara. So what is this inquiry into oneself? The inquiry is, who am I or what am I? And the obvious answer is, why? This. There's nothing to know more than this. You see, here I am, this body, this mind. When you investigate this body, when we investigate this mind, the inquiry, it shows us very clearly we are mistaken. We are actually not this body. We are actually not this mind. Though the body is there and the mind is there, we are not it. And our real nature right now is startlingly different, is extraordinarily different from this body and mind. So let's see this process a little bit. And then I would like to interact with you. I'm actually going to point out the real self, Atman or Brahman, whatever you call it in Advaita Vedanta. We're going to point it out right now and see if it makes sense to you. And see especially if you can catch it right now, if you can sense the reality within yourself, within ourselves right now. I mean, the words I'm using within quotes because you cannot directly do that. Not the body, not the mind. Why? Notice that the body changes continuously. It's a fact. Babyhood, childhood, teenage, youth, middle age, old age, how much this body has changed. Hardly recognizable. We ourselves, if we were not told, group photo 40 years ago, and we might not even recognize ourselves and the body there in that photograph. And yet we have the sense that I was that baby, I was the child, I was the teenager, I was that young person, middle-aged person. Now I am here, this old person. That which is changing continuously, and this sense of unchanging identity throughout. The changing and the unchanging cannot be the same thing. In Vedanta, this is called savikara nirvikara. That which is savikara, with change, with modification, and that which is nirvikara, the sense of personal identity, this awareness of the changing body. That awareness has not changed. The two cannot be the same. Between the changing and the unchanging, there can be no relationship. One sadhu said, नित्य और अनित्य में कोई संबंध नहीं होता है. अगर लगता है तो वो भ्रम है. Very, very important precept if you think about it, very deep and stunning. Between the eternal and the non-eternal, there can be no relationship. And yet, if you find a relationship, that's an error, Brahma. How devastating it is. Non-eternal, father, mother, they come and go. They are there, and one day they grow old and die. Husband, wife, children, colleagues, friends, community, they come and go, non-eternal. And say, yeah, I know that. But what we don't know is, if they are non-eternal, you, the eternal self, you actually have no relation with them. We think we are so closely attached. My dearest and nearest, husband, wife, children. If there was a time when they were not there, know it for sure there will be a time when they will not be there. And even deeper, if that is so, that there was a time they were not there in your life, and there will be a time when they will not be there in your life, in that case, even now when they are there, you have no relation with them. Now, I'm not being cruel. I'm not saying you should abandon your children and divorce your spouse. No. This is in a deep philosophical sense. Actually, in a most profound sense, you are not connected to them. You are not tied to them. If you are tied to something, when it goes, it will pull you along with it. If you are tied to something, when it moves, it will pull you along with it. If you're tied to a person, I'm so much attached. When that person goes away, you should also go along with it. You'll be pulled around. It does not happen. People come and go and disappear in our lives. We don't come with them. We don't go with them. In that case, when they are there also, there's no deep connection, attachment with them. It just seems like that. Brahm hai. Nothing wrong with it. As long as you know it seems like that, you'll be free of that. You'll be free of that attachment. And you can do all your family, professional work can go on. There's no problem at all. But you will enjoy the benefit of freedom in the midst of all of this. Between the eternal and non-eternal, there can be no relationship. Between the changing and the unchanging, there can be no relationship. You, the unchanging awareness, and the continuously changing body, you have no relation. You are not only not one with the body, you are not the body. It is not even connected to you. It is not even connected to you. Same goes for the mind. The mind changes so much from morning till now, just now. How many times happy? How many times miserable? How many times alert? How many times bored? How many times sleepy? After a cup of coffee, how awake and alert? How many times curious, angry, irritated, happy, pleased? How much the mind is changing within these few hours after waking up from last night's sleep. Throughout the life, imagine how fast and how much the mind changes. But you are the same one who saw the happy mind, who saw the miserable mind, who saw the bored mind, who saw the curious and interested mind, who sees the fresh and alert mind, who sees the dull mind. If you see all of these things, then you are not the mind. If you have seen all of them, then all these things have come and gone. You are the seer of the mind. You are unchanging, nirvikara, and the mind is changing, savikara. Between the nirvikara and savikara, between nitya and anitya, there can be no relationship. It seems to be my mind. The closest thing in the world, the closest thing in the universe is my mind. I think I am the mind. No, not only are you not the mind, you have no relation with the mind also. Well, what a tremendous statement. And if you think that way, you will first of all feel a great relief. And where will the relief be? Not in the consciousness. Relief will be in the mind. Mind itself will be very happy to get rid of you. All the trouble the mind undergoes is because we embrace the mind as ourselves. So the mind itself is not me, not even related to me. I am aware of it, no doubt of it. Because I am nirvikara, mind is savikara. Someone might say, so what nirvikara what? I am the awareness which is aware of the mind. Through the mind, I'm aware of the body. Through the body mind, I'm aware of the world. But world is continuously changing, no doubt about it. Body is continuously changing, no doubt about it. Mind is also continuously changing, no doubt about it. Because they are changing, and I'm aware of the changes, in that case, I have no connection with them. I am just the witness of these changes. If I'm witness, if I'm awareness, my very nature must be consciousness. The self is not blood and flesh and bones and cells and organs. The self is not thoughts, feelings, memories, desires, this bundle which we call the personality. Self is not that. It's the witness of all of that. It functions through it. No more than you are your shirt or your undershirt. In the same way, you are not the physical body, nor the subtle body, the mind. They are there, but they are not you. Why? Savikara, nirvikara. Not only are you not that, you are completely unattached to all of these, even when they are existing. Asangavayam Atma. You have no sangha, no attachment to them. Why not no attachment? As I said, if you were attached to this, a changing thing, when it changes, if you are attached to it, you will change along with it. But if you have not changed, if you are the same witness which you were in your childhood, watching the child's body and the child's mind, teenage body, teenage mind, middle-aged body, middle-aged mind, and old age body, and old tired mind, need not be old and tired mind. Some people have old body but young mind. Some people have opposite, young body and old mind. But in either case, you are not it. You are the unattached witness. Again, in another way, let us look at it this way. Two more other ways we'll see this self-enquiry. These are called prakriyas, methods. One method is changing, unchanging. We just did that. Another one, my favorite, is Drik-Drishya. Is experiencer and experience, seer and seen. What you see is apart from the seer. Eyes are seeing all this, laptop, all these faces, all these things in the room, but they are all different from the eyes, physically different. They are objects out there and the eyes are here. They're two different things. You say, so what? That's obvious, but so what? In the same way, the mind which knows the eyes is different from the eyes and other sense organs. And you, the consciousness, the awareness, you are aware of the mind and the sensory system, including the eyes and the world. So if you are aware of them, they are different from you. They are not the self. This object, the world outside, this piece of paper, I know I am not that piece of paper. That's a thing. But I am this person. But even this person, I can use the word this. I can use the word it, this body, these eyes. Even as you go further inside, this thought, these thoughts. If you can say this, it, then it's not you. Look at your experience right now. Whatever, right now, it's a very powerful method. Right now, whatever you can label as this, then it's not you. This laptop, not me, clearly. But this body, I can say this body, can I not? I can see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. It's an object of all my senses, this body. Then it's an it, an object, a thing. It's not me. I am the one who is aware of it. Then the thoughts in the mind, which I intimately own that I am those thoughts. Am I really the thoughts? When the thoughts are not there, am I not there? I'm still there. When new thoughts came, did I become new? No. When memories faded away, did I fade away? No. Am I able to objectify the thoughts? Can I say this thought? Right? This thought is bothering me. This, in that case, I am not the thought. Even bothering me, that also I am not. You see, the question is asked here. No, this will not work. You see, you said you are not this piece of paper. Correct, I agree. I am not this piece of paper. But then in the same logic, you are saying this body, you are not this body, but that will not work. If you hit the piece of paper, if you cut the piece of paper, if you burn the piece of paper, nothing happens to me. But if you hit this body, cut it or burn it, I will feel so much pain. So you have to be very logical. In the path of self-enquiry, one thing is you have to be very rational, very slow and careful. What is the argument? If you do something to if you try to damage the piece of paper, I am not affected. So I understand I am not the piece of paper. But if you cut this body and burn it, I am affected. Terrible suffering is there. So I am this body. No, it does not follow. If you hit this body, pierce this body, there is pain. Next step, are you aware of the pain? Yes. Then can you say, this pain? Can you say, it is hurting, it's an object of awareness? Yes. Then the pain is also an object. You must follow this carefully. The pain in the body is also an object. It is not you. If you can categorize something as this thing, then it's not you. Just as this paper is not you, this body is not you, the pain in the body is also not you. It's equally enough. It's a more subtle thing. It's a feeling, but it's still an object because it is presented to your consciousness. The pain in the body is presented to your consciousness, just as the body itself is presented to your consciousness, just as this piece of paper also is presented to your consciousness. Paper, body, pain, equally object, not you. You are free of it. They come and go. You don't come and go with them. Drik-Drishya. Even you are the Drik, the seer, and whatever you experience is Drishya, seen. Thoughts in the mind, no matter how horrible, how depressing, how miserable, not you. My mind is dull, Maharaj, I can't meditate. When I try to meditate, I feel sleepy. All right, what does Vedanta say? Alert and peaceful mind. Not you, you are aware of it. Are you aware of the sleepy mind, the unmeditative mind? Yes, I'm aware. That's why I'm complaining. If you are aware of it, that one which is aware of the unmeditative sleepy mind, is that sleepy or unmeditative? No. That is shining always as it is. That is not affected. See, mind is sleepy. And if you're aware of the sleepy mind, later on you can report. During the sleepiness, you cannot report because mind is sleepy. But afterwards, you'll see, yeah, I noticed the sleepiness. That which noticed the sleepiness of the mind, that which noticed the depression of the mind, that which noticed the restlessness of the mind, that one is not depressed. That one is not sleepy. That one is not restless. That one is consciousness. It is free of all the problems of mind. Drashta, the seer. The seer is not touched by the seen. It is untouched. Asanga, again, just as Savikara, Nirvikara, unchanging and changing, the unchanging is unattached completely with the changing. Similarly, the seer is completely unattached with the seen. And the seen includes body and mind also. Body and mind are not the self. One more, and then we'll be done. This is called Chit Jada. You, the awareness, the entire world, including body and mind, are presented to us, the awareness. I am aware, in my awareness comes this world. In my awareness comes this body also, however it is. In my awareness comes this mind also. But I do not become an object of the body or the mind. Who is aware of whom? Are you aware of the body or is the body aware of you? I do this experiment sometimes that look at this hand. When I look at this hand, what is my feeling? Am I aware of the hand or is the hand aware of me? I'm aware of the hand. Yeah, it is the hand. You say, so what? Same way I'm aware of this hand. Same way I'm aware of every part of the body, wherever I choose to focus my awareness. And none of these parts of the body are aware of me. Think about it. You see, what is this so great? One doctor in Scotland wrote to me suddenly, great realization. He said, I was looking at a scan image of the body. And he said, I've been looking at these for years and years, of thousands of such pictures of the body. And I just now I realized, in all these pictures, detailed pictures of the body, where am I? These are things, complicated, sophisticated, organic structures. But where am I? I, the conscious being, who is examining all these things. Where am I in this body? Am I in one place in the body? Nowhere. Am I the totality of the body? No. Where am I? It's an object. Similarly, even thoughts, take it one step deeper. Even the thoughts, are you aware of the thoughts or are the thoughts aware of you? You, the awareness, shine upon the thoughts and reveal them. The thoughts do not reveal you. Simple experiment. Just now we perform. If I think a thought, like The funny thing is, you ask mind, please think a thought. Swami is asking me to perform an experiment. The mind, which is always thinking thoughts when it's not required, when you ask the mind, think a thought, Maharaj, my mind is blank now. Think a thought. I always say A, B, C, D, or 2 plus 2, 4. Some thought, 2 plus 2, 4. When you aware, now be aware of that thought, 2 plus 2, 4. Am I aware of 2 plus 2, 4? Or is 2 plus 2, 4 aware of me? So what a ridiculous suggestion. Very clearly, I am aware of a thought, 2 plus 2, 4. It has no capacity of being aware of me. It's just a thought in the mind. Similarly, the mind is not aware of you. Mind which is composed of such thoughts, feelings, perceptions. Mind is not aware of you. You are aware of the mind. You are awareness, and everything else, from the physical thing like a rock or a stone, to the body, to even the subtle things like the mind, thoughts, feelings, perceptions, they are all classified as insentient, jada in Sanskrit. And you are classified as chit, consciousness. Between the chit and the jada, between consciousness and the object, the insentient, there can be no connection. Appears to be connection, no connection. The light shines on everything. This light shines on everything in this room, but it is not connected to anything in the room. When the light shines on this piece of paper, it is illumined. The piece of paper is illumined, but the light does not stick to this piece of paper. When I remove the piece of paper, the light is still there. The paper does not carry the light away by itself. Similarly, when you shine upon the world, including body, including mind, no matter how disturbing the thought, you are not connected to it in any way. They are like little pieces of dust, little bits of dust floating in a ray of sunlight. Early in the morning, we see, when ray of sunlight comes into the room, you'll see lots of tiny pieces of dust, little bits of dust floating in it. All thoughts, emotions, perceptions are like those pieces of dust floating in you, the ray of consciousness, in you consciousness, in your radiance. Between chit and jara, consciousness and non-consciousness, sentience and insentience, there can be no connection. Between Drik and Drishya, seer and seen, there can be no connection. Between Savikara and Nirvikara, unchanging and the changing, there can be no connection. You, the seer, the self, you are the seer, you are the unchanging, you are awareness. And what you see, what you experience is the ever-changing, the seen, the experienced object, and insentient. This unchanging radiance, revealing everything in your life, this is the nature of the self. This is what we are. This is what is meant when you say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. I am of the nature of awareness and bliss. That is Shiva. That is Shiva. Okay. One more, and just say it, I will not prove it here. One question remains. All right, so I am the witness, the awareness, the unchanging consciousness, and everything else in the world, including body and mind, are changing. So are they two different realms? Consciousness, not consciousness, changing, unchanging, seer, seen. So you have made a division. It is not Advaita, it's not non-duality, it's still duality. Still vast differences remain. Earlier the difference was inside the skin, I am. Outside the skin, everything else, separate from me. But now I'm saying even this body and mind are also put as else, as the other. What is the relationship between consciousness and matter? What is the relationship between self and other? According to Advaita Vedanta, is a bombshell. That what we regard as matter is actually nothing other than a projection within consciousness. There is no separate realm of matter. What we just separated, the changing, insentient object, universe, that is all an appearance in consciousness, according to Advaita Vedanta. It is nothing but consciousness. So Vivekananda puts it this way. First, it appears to you. Then you look deeper. It's actually appearing within you. This world is within you. So that sounds cool. Object, put an objection. In Uttarakhand, Haridwar, one sadhu said, when this was being said, that this whole thing is inside you. Sab aap mein hai, aap sarvavyapi hai. You are all pervading. You are all pervading consciousness. This monk protested from the back of the hall. Question, I am here and you are there. I am here, I am not there. How can I be all pervading? I cannot even pervade one room. I'm in only one chair. Even the fattest person cannot pervade this room, and let alone pervading the whole universe. In Hindi, he said, मैं यहाँ हूँ और वहाँ नहीं हूँ, तो कैसे सर्वव्यापी हुआ? I am here and not there. How can I be all pervading? The immediate answer came from the teacher. और ये यहाँ और वहाँ दोनों क्या आप में नहीं है? Even this idea of here and there, are they not both within your awareness? Where else are you experiencing space and time here and there? All within awareness only. You see, we think of it in terms of body. In body, I am here, another body is there, so these two are different. But we are being asked, don't think in terms of body, think in terms of consciousness. Don't stand in the body and judge. Stand on consciousness. Identify with consciousness and then try to understand. A very good example is this. In dreams, we see a lot of people. We see a vast distance, mountains and rivers. I am here, I'm not there. And that's so far. Then when I wake up, oh, the whole thing was a dream. So here and there, all those distances, mountains, rivers, everything was in this mind only. It appeared that I was here and not there, vast space. No. The whole thing was projected and imagined in the mind, including space, including time, including object. Desha, Kala, Vastu, all appear and disappear in consciousness. So first to consciousness, then you investigate, it is in your consciousness, and finally you realize what is in your consciousness, not outside it, cannot be anything other than consciousness. What is it made of? Consciousness only. It just appears to be an object. Then, if everything that you experience is not a second reality apart from your consciousness, no second, non-dual, dual means second, no second, non-dual, Advaitam. Consciousness is Advaitam, non-dual. You are this non-dual radiance, this awareness. And what you experience, this whole universe, the drama of your life, including this little body and its little life, they are all appearances in this immortal awareness which you are, which we all are. Advaitam. Brahma Veda Brahmeva Bhavati. By knowing this Brahman, one becomes Brahman. Becomes Brahman means I am already Brahman. I suddenly realize I am that. Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this. Na aham Dehoasmi. I am not this body. I am not this little person, Sarvapriyananda. I am this unchanging witness consciousness, which is the ground of this reality, the fundamental nature of this entire reality which I'm experiencing, that I am. This is the grand teaching of Advaita Vedanta. This is the end result of self-enquiry, Atma Vichara.